What's going on, guys? It's Cal here from Buffalo SportsCenter. Today we are going to be looking at week 2 of the preseason between the Buffalo Bills and the Chicago Bears. Now, I always say the goal of preseason is to avoid any major injuries, and the Bills did a good job of that last week against the Giants. Of course, the Bills had some minor injuries with Taron Johnson, but it looks like it's going to be a-okay for him. Maybe hold him out the rest of preseason just to be sure, but no concussion there. The Bears, on the other hand, also did a pretty good job. No major injuries, so that is good. Let's get into the Bears a little bit to start this off. A couple major position battles we have to see. Of course, Braxton Jones coming off that season-ending ankle injury last year, may be replaced by Ozzie Trapilo, again, a guy who's 6'8", 310 pounds from Boston College. The Bears used a second-round pick on him, so look at that position battle. Again, cornerback 2 for them as well. Stevenson, Smith, and Frazier going at it. Of course, Jalen Johnson is their number 1 cornerback, so the second cornerback and on is going to be a battle for the Bears. Look for the Bills to kind of exploit that weakness potentially on the outside this week. Again, it's preseason, so I don't think there's going to be too much scouting going on. Just picking some weak spots there. Slot receiver, also a big one. Zacharias versus Burden III. I thought Burden looked really good last week against the Dolphins. They tied, unfortunately. I hate when these preseason games tie, but it does happen. And of course, you want to avoid playing football if you can towards the end of the games. You got fourth stringers out there who probably are not fully ready for the NFL game. To put them out there and then make them play a full overtime period is just a waste of time, of course, because we're not looking to have more injuries than that. Linebacker for the Bears, Sewell. Again, Eccles potentially too. We know Tremaine Edmonds is there. As Bills fans, we know all too well what Tremaine Edmonds can do on the field. We know he has all the physical attributes, has not yet put it together, and I don't know if he's ever going to, but he has turned into a very solid option at linebacker. I'm still glad we went with Milano over Edmonds. I'm glad, that whole thing worked out the way it did. Running back 3rd for the Bears. That one as well. Homer is probably my lead candidate. Hawkins, Wheeler. There's a couple other names in there, but of course, DeAndre Swift is over there with the Bears now, and Roschon Johnson, who is a very solid running back number 2. Let's switch over to the Bills now. Of course, the Bills coming off a loss against the Giants. I know it doesn't matter, but it still stings to lose. Mitch Trubisky looks solid, 9 for 13, 138 yards in the air, and 1 touchdown. A 121.3 passer rating is pretty solid. Of course, that was boosted by the 58-yard pass to Tyrell Shavers right before the half ended. Unfortunately, Tyrell Shavers did not get in the end zone on that play, so it did set up a field goal, but it is good to see a guy like Tyrell Shavers play so good in the preseason. He is fighting for his job, and I think this is the year where Tyrell Shavers actually makes the team. Let me know in the comments if you think that as well, or if you think one of those other wide receivers like Elijah Moore steals his spot. There is a chance both of those guys make the team as well. Other quarterback for the Bills that really made a splash. We're not going to talk about Shane Buechele's awful showing in the fourth quarter. Let's talk about Mike White. 8 for 13, 112 yards, 2 touchdowns, 127.1 passer rating. Had the 39-yard touchdown pass to KJ Hamler on that 4th down. That was a great play. KJ Hamler got wide open there. A little miscommunication from the Giants defense. And I would say Mike White kind of outperformed Trubisky a little bit, but keep in mind Mike White is playing against lesser talent later in the game. We look at the running back game. Ray Davis, a pretty quiet game, 3 carries for 7 yards. Had an extra point, though, so you love to see that. Ty Johnson just had an incredible game. Again, every time Ty Johnson touches the ball, whether it's preseason or regular season or even playoffs, he is like a rocket. The second that ball touches his hands, he is straight for a couple yards, and you love to see it. Frank Gore Jr., 5 carries for 21 yards. Looked very well. Evans also had a touchdown in this game, so the running backs looked very well with James Cook sitting on the sidelines. Got to be a little bit worried if the Bills decide not to sign James Cook long term. I think we're going to be fine. I like the running back core, especially if they keep Frank Gore Jr. So if you're James Cook, you got to start sweating this out a little bit. I don't know what your agent is doing here, but again, it might just be a no sign if these running backs continue to look good in camp. Wide receiver wise, again, like I said, Shavers had that big catch. He ended the day with 2 receptions for 70 yards. KJ Hamler had that touchdown. Kincaid had 1 reception for 10 yards. Zach Davidson had a notable drop. Same thing with Jackson Hawes. So both of these tight ends fighting for that tight end 3 spot on the team had crucial drops, and they both didn't really look that good at all. And then Elijah Moore didn't really do much this game, didn't play a whole lot, but again, he's been a name in camp where people are getting a little bit worried, just a little bit, that he might not pan out. I'm not going to really say anything until the regular season starts. Let's flip to the Bills defense real quick. Buffalo Joe Andreessen looked phenomenal stopping the run. 5 tackles, 1 tackle for loss. I mean, nothing but good things to say about him. Jimmy Carlo, again, big day for him. Got signed as an undrafted guy out of Army, and 4 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss. He looked like he fit right in the NFL game. If not with the Bills, I see him starting, or at least being on a practice squad somewhere else later down the line in the season. I thought Joey Bosa looked good in his limited reps, got through a couple times. Matt Milano continues to look great in camp and look good in this game. Tre'Davious White looked a little bit rusty. He made some good tackles, but had some softer coverage. We got to talk about Jordan Hancock, had an interception, but unfortunately Landon Jackson was offsides on the play. Another interception that could have happened was Joe Andreessen, a tip ball. Just wasn't able to hang on to it when it hit the ground. So that is pretty much it with the Bills. Let's switch over to the Bears game last week. Again, the Bears tied the Dolphins, like I said earlier. Case Keenum started for them. I think we'll probably see some Caleb Williams this week. But Case Keenum had a 26-yard pass to Torrey. That was his longest play. And he also had a 14-yard touchdown to Walker, who is their rookie out there. He looked all right. Again, I think as a backup, Case Keenum, again, we know him in Buffalo. He's a very solid backup option. Tyson Bagent came in the game then. It did not look all that good. A 77.3 passer rating. He did have a 4-yard touchdown pass to Maurice Alexander, though. And then, like I said, Luther Burden III had a nice 16-yard pass on a 3rd and 15. So good to see Burden. I think he's, fighting for that spot, and he's going to look good as a rookie. Other receivers, again, Alexander led the team with 4 receptions. Torrey had that 26-yard completion, and Burden looked good as well. Going to their defense, Robinson had a sack, Pickens had a sack, Cook had a sack. This defense looked very good against the Dolphins in the opportunities that they had. Carlos Santos hit a 57-yard field goal at the end of the first half. Nothing compared to that 70-yarder we saw in Jacksonville, but 57 yards in the preseason is definitely something to at least slow clap about. That's good to see from the Bears, who, they've had some special teams issues in the past. Of course, the whole, we're not going to get into that, but they know how to hit the uprights. So hopefully they can find a way to get that special teams group going. And I think that's pretty much going to be it for this video. So again, I'm looking for certainly some rough play between these two teams. Again, a lot of guys are going to be on the field fighting for their jobs, if not for these teams, for other teams to see them and sign them. So it's going to be a fun one. Of course, preseason, take it with a grain of salt, anything you see. Some guys aren't even, playing at their fullest. And then you got the guys in the fourth quarter who are giving every single ounce to stay on that field for week 3 and potentially the regular season. Thank you guys for watching this video. Be sure to leave a like and leave a comment what you guys think is going to happen in this game. I was Cal, and have a good one. Peace out.